Hello, my name is James and welcome to Mirror Domains, and this is my spoiler review for Joker. Now I'm just going to sit here and talk about some of the key points in the movie, just how I reacted to them and how I perceived things as they were unfolding. I gotta tell you straight up off the bat that I like the way that this opened with him dancing as the clown and the kids beating him up. I thought like that was a very effective way to set the tone of this movie that, yeah, Gotham, it's in a really low place right now. And it's kind of realistic in the sense that, yeah, there's some punk kids out there and they beat this guy, not to death, but yeah, they hurt him. They hurt him bad. And you kind of get the feeling that, well, am I supposed to be starting to feel sympathy for him? I don't know. He's supposed to be likable enough to the point where you're going to want to watch a movie about him. But as the movie unfolds, the director, Todd Phillips, does a fantastic job of making that eerie creepiness to the way that Arthur, Joaquin Phoenix, is playing it. It's kind of like, yeah, it's a weird guy. I don't want to be around that guy. It's kind of like when that guy comes into the room, it's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to know what's going on with him. I just kind of want to keep my distance. He's got that creepy factor to him. But it's also kind of sad in the way because when he's on the bus and he's just trying to cheer up that kid, the mother turns around and is kind of like, stop bothering my kid. And then he starts laughing. And he tries to stop laughing and he chokes on it. And he does that a couple times in the movies where he tries to stop himself from laughing, but he really chokes on it. And he hands the mother his card that says, okay, I have a condition about laughing. And it's kind of sad in the fact that once she reads it and turns it around and says, please return card. It's kind of like, oh my God, yeah, that would be a debilitating thing to have, this laughing thing. And you think that would be a funny thing, but it's not. They do a really good job of, showcasing that and putting it in the foreground for this character. And it's just kind of like, it's part of the disturbing nature of it because he'll just start laughing at things when he's just trying to be serious or, when he's trying to do something that he wants to do, like the stand-up. It's just, wow. You look at some of the things that he does and the way that he looks. There's one point where his boss is like giving him the shakedown, kind of like saying, well, why did this happen? You got to take the sign back. And he's just kind of like staring at him and he realizes that what's going on is normal, should be normal, that you're going to have to pay for the sign because they broke it and it's going to come out of your paycheck. But it's also insane too. And he kind of, you see him internalize that and he just gets this really crazy look on his face and you're like, oh, that's the first time I was like, yeah, he's doing something real. Oh, I would be shocked if he doesn't get nominated. He has to get nominated for Best Actor for this because he just goes to so many different places. It's just, it's breathtaking. And it is the highlight of the film. Okay, what else? The whole side plot with Zazie Beetz, a neighbor of his that he admires and adores, I guess. He fantasizes about being in a relationship with her. You think that he's in just a normal, friendly relationship with her, but weird things happen and you're just like, you know what? He's just imagining it in his head. And they do a great nod to Taxi Driver where she goes like this to herself and he does it back and it's kind of like, yeah, that's what happened at the end of Taxi Driver. So I like that little Easter egg kind of thing. If you knew what it was kind of like, okay, I like that. It wasn't on the nose. It wasn't forced in either. It was kind of like it was organically put there because they're talking about just the state of the city and such. It was just, I like that part. Okay, so when do things really start to go off the rails? When he starts to learn more about his mother, I guess. His mother obviously is not well up here either. And I was beginning to think at one point, is she also a figment of his imagination? Is she really not there? And then once you start to learn more about her relationship with Thomas Wayne, that she used to work at the mansion, and I guess she also had some disability that had to put her in an insane asylum where she had to work things out. And then she adopted Arthur. Arthur thought that he was the son of Thomas Wayne, which would have made a lot of people angry because then it would have made that Joker and Bruce are brothers. But I'm glad that it didn't turn out that way. You thought maybe it was going to go down that path, and it didn't. I felt like, yeah, that works. That works cool. And just to wrap things up with that, I really like the interaction in the bathroom with Thomas Wayne and Arthur when he's trying to confront him about it. That was one of my favorite scenes. That just the way that played out. Joaquin, just a tour de force. My God. And he has an interaction with Bruce at the mansion at the gates, where we saw in the trailer he puts a smiley face on him. And so it's kind of like cool to see those little nods, of young Bruce swinging down from his playset on the pole and such like that. There were like little tips of the cap here and there I caught into, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's cool. I like that. And of course, just to wrap up the Thomas Wayne stuff, obviously he learns that he's just adopted and he's not his father. That really gets under his skin. He kills his mother for that. And in the end of the movie, we see that Thomas Wayne and his mother gets shot, leaving Bruce like that. It's just, it's not shoehorned in either. It's kind of like there's a reason for it to happen. And I'm glad that Arthur is not responsible for shooting, but he's responsible for inspiring the culture for making this happen. Because what happens, to start this all off, was that scene in the train that we saw in the trailers where he's just laughing, and then those businessmen beat him up, and then he kills them with a gun, and that's like his first act of murder. And he starts to internalize it. He's like, I should feel bad about this, but I don't. I feel pretty good. And he just does this dancing thing in the bathroom where it's kind of like, no, this guy's weird, man. He's weird. He's off. And one of the big things where he murders one of his co-workers that comes to try to console him afterwards at his apartment. Oh, that was a violent scene. And the little short guy, that's a scene stealer for sure. That guy who played the short guy. I just like, that whole scene was phenomenally done. Gary, Lee Gill. He plays a shorter guy who's like the second-hand man to the person that he used to work for. He does the paychecks and stuff like that. I thought his role was good because once he savagely murders this guy, the short guy's kind of like, whoa. And you're kind of like, is he going to kill him too? And then he lets him go. So we can see that he's got a mental process about how he puts people, how he categorizes people. Like he said to the short guy, he's like, you were the nicest person to me when I worked there, so don't worry, you're okay, you can go home. And it's kind of like, that's Joker. That's what Joker would do. Because you would think that he's just a murderous clown, he would murder everybody. We just put that stamp on things where it's kind of like, yeah, he's the bad guy, so he's just going to kill everybody. No, the Joker's not like that. And that they got that right. And that I can see will disturb people because it just doesn't make sense. You just think he's murderous to everybody. And then we get to the final big epic. There's a chase on the subway. The police try to track him down because they're on to him, and he gets booked onto the talk show with Robert De Niro because they see that clip of him performing really bad stand-up, and they make fun of him, and the audience likes that, so they try to book him on the show, and they book him on the show. They get him to come on the show, and we see that he's gonna try to plan out his suicide on the show, and he knows the cops are after him. He gets onto the show, and he's got the Joker makeup on and everything. Things are what we saw in the trailer. And then he starts talking about, he gives a speech about people getting what they deserve, and how he was there to be the laughingstock. People were just going to make fun of him. And that's not right. That's sort of what's wrong with society right now. We shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. Picking on people for our own amusement. And just the dialogue there and how Joaquin delivers it, it's just so breathtaking. It's my favorite scene of the year by far. It trumps anything that's in Endgame. It's just kind of like, that scene is just my favorite scene of the year so far. What did you guys think about that scene? Let me know in the comments. Was that your favorite scene? And then it kind of goes a little bit weird, kind of where the cops arrest him, and he's going away, and it's very kind of paralleling to the Dark Knight of the Joker in the back of the cop car. I like those nods, like to appreciation of the other films, and the way that he dances at times. It's a little bit like Jack Nicholson's Joker. I just, oh God, it's so great. What a great film. What a phenomenal. It's my third favorite movie of the year. If you haven't seen my actual movie review, I did a top 5, my top 5 of the year, and it did make that, and I'll post that right here quickly. It made my third spot. I gave the movie a 9 out of 10 overall. It could be a 9.5 for sure. It could be 8.5, but I gave it a 9, and I stand by that. I think it's a solid film that everybody needs to go out and see. They need to internalize, how did that make me feel? Because that's something that good art does. It makes you feel something. And it's not necessarily all the time a good thing, but it makes you go, huh, wow, yeah, huh. And that's what this movie's going to make you do. And I think everybody should go out and see it this weekend. Joker, 2019, Joaquin Phoenix. It's a movie that I never felt that we would ever see, because Joaquin said things like he never wanted to do comic book movies. And to take on the Joker, it's so iconic. So iconic. Okay. That's the way I felt about it. And some of the spoilers. Let me know what you guys felt in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it too. Okay, so YouTube is recommending a video for you to watch right here, and you can see my latest one just right up there. My name is James, and you're watching Mirror Domains. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe.